We're talking eBay, Depop, and Etsy too. Latest trends and deals coming right to you. From the greatest Reseller news, get the tips, the tricks, the do's and don'ts to use. From bargains to bids and what's sold high, we're riding the waves, watch the profits fly.
Levi 501s, and they were made in Australia, so early 2000s. Early 2000s they were, and I think I asked about 44 for those plus posts. So, and they cost me $10. So to get what I'm getting for the Johnny Bigs, I'm pretty happy with, because at the moment, like as soon as you start listing them, an ad comes up and saying 70% off Johnny Bigs on your phone, which made me go, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
But no, they're selling, so I'm pretty happy. Yeah. Because they're they're $120 shirt, I think, normally.
Is that right? Far out. I didn't realise they were worth. I didn't realise they were worth that much retail.
Yeah, plus sizes command big money.
Yeah.
I actually take my tag. I do the first tag on the back is actually a sneaky one because it's got the price there if you have a look on it. So it's one of those things that I do actually show what the normal. My computer's having fun today. Won't let me do much with my stuff. But yeah, I think it's like $100, $120 or something.
Yeah, right. I'll be looking at them in a different light then. And is everything that you're selling, is that all plus size?
No, it's just more. I live in the country. I'm nearly 700 kilometres from Adelaide.
Yeah.
I buy what I can get my hands on. So that's what you do. You don't really worry. I mean, if I can sell Gazman, I can sell Johnny Big.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, something, if they're new, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can sell it. So you've just got to have the price point right, but you know that.
Yeah, I was at the op shop today. I found a whole lot of autograph women's plus size jeans.
Yeah, so you realise Gigi's ears are about 4 foot tall now.
I actually left them behind.
She'd be pretty darn excited.
How much were they?
They were $6 each, but when I comped them, they were brand new with tags. They were $6 each, and they were sizes 20, 22, 24. And I left them behind because when I comped them, I was seeing, and I was looking at the only new sold results. Yeah. I was seeing inconsistency, and I didn't buy them in the end. I had all of them in my hand. I was about to buy them all, and I wasn't too sure. In the end, I left them.
We've all done that.
My little tip for you, Bax, not that I should be encouraging people that are selling in opposition to me, but my little tip with stuff like that is I don't list, when I get new with tags from the op shop, I still don't list them as new. I list them as excellent condition, and I put on there that they're unworn, because essentially you're not buying them from the retail store, right? But then I command the decent price for them, and generally I get well within what I'm asking for. And if you're only paying $6 for them,
these still had the tags on them, like they still had the autograph tags on them. They've never been worn. And you're saying don't list them as new.
Well, that's what I do. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that's what I do, and it seems to work. Good day, Neil. I was finding that because I didn't have a high volume of new stuff that I was listing, the new stuff I was listing didn't seem to be getting the same attention as my other stuff. So I started listing it as used, but in excellent condition, and it works for me.
Yeah, right. I'll probably be going through there tomorrow.
An experiment on,
Yeah, like it's just one of those brands I haven't sold before, and you know how you sometimes see brands and you just don't know, like you don't pick them up because you just don't know if they're viable or not. Yeah. And that's one. But I only looked at it today because there was a lot of them and they were new with tags. They literally hadn't been worn, so
which means
maybe
you can ask a slightly better price. Now the other question is, were they pull-ons or did they have buttons and zippers?
I think there was a variety of both.
So the ones, I'll tell you now, like the pull-ons will sell, but the ones with the buttons and zippers, especially if they are in those bigger plus sizes, will sell better and I find quicker because we plus size people don't necessarily want to have pull-on jeans. We want to have normal jeans like everybody else.
And I've also got a bed and coat hangers.
Yeah, good on you.
I actually knew that, Gigi, because if you taught well, you have taught well.
Yes, yeah.
By the way, that pair of jeans I did list today, the 501s.
Yeah.
I've just had I've just been able to give an offer because there's 5 Blicks and 1 Watcher already.
Oh.
Mm.
So, like for those
And
of
I
you
don't-
that wonder what the bed and the coat hanger have to do with anything that may not be aware, I will fill you in. If you just give me a second, I'll pull up the.
Oh, we're not. No, we're not going to. We're not. What's going on here?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all
Oh,
good.
good. Second. Mm.
Okay, so I had a pair of jeans listed. Now I've sold like g'day Rob. I've actually packaged up today to ship 7 pairs of vintage jeans. Like what they all of a sudden they just seem to be taking off. Now, one of those pair, the buyer, so they bought them but didn't pay for them. Then they sent me this message. Hi, would you say these run true to size or seem small? Cheers, Karen. So this was my response, and I will say I was hot, I was bothered. I'd had a bit of a day, and by the way, Neil says evening all, wavy hand. So I might have had a little bit of snark, feeling a bit snarky. So this was my response. Thanks for reaching out. That isn't something I can answer for you, although, in general, vintage sizing on all clothing does tend to run a little small than today's sizing. The other consideration here is that these are 100% cotton, so have no stretch. Now, these jeans are, as I said, vintage. They're called squeezers. That's the model, Lee Squeezers. So then I said, I'd also keep in mind that the model name here is squeezers. They are designed to be squeezed into, as were many of the jeans back in the 70s and 80s. Many a female lay on the bed, sucked their tummy in and used a coat hanger to pull the zipper up, including myself. LOL. If you have a pair of jeans that you like the fit of, compare the measurements of that garment to the measurements that I show in the photos and what I've listed in the item specific. Cheers, Leanne. And I was kind of expecting to get a no response from that and that they'd cancel the order. Instead, I got this. Ha 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 ha. I love the reply and I love your brutal honesty. It's a risk I'm willing to take. So sold. Thank you, Leanne.
Oh, look at that.
So there you go. That was one of my pair that I...
Not bad from a Saki response.
It was pretty good, I thought. Pretty good from a snarky response. All right, let's get into tonight's little chitty chat. So, first topic. And where's Adam gone?
He's run away.
I'll kick his butt. Anyway, I'll kick his butt because one of the topics I'm going to talk about is specifically designed, well, not for him, but, conversations I had with him today made me think that this was something worth chatting about. But the first thing I want to talk about are offers. And it always surprises me sometimes when I come in here and, I'll say, I'll receive an offer and I'll go, oh, let's play the should GG accept the offer game. And it always surprises me that people will say, oh, I've got X amount of offers, I don't send them out, or I decline lowball offers, or I just ignore them. I'm always astounded because I get so many sales by sending out offers. And so I wanted to bring up some discussion points about what to do with offers. Should you accept them, should you decline them, or should you counter them? It is actually my personal opinion, so I'm not saying this is what everyone should do, but it's been my experience that if I either A, accept an offer, or B, counter an offer, then I will get more engagement with the buyer and possibly still get the sale, and I seem to then get more traffic in that area, in that category that offer came from. So declining the offer or ignoring the offer does nothing. Whereas at least if you counter the offer or accept the offer, you are engaging. So should you always allow offers, or does it depend on the item type? Well, that's up to you. If you've got new products perhaps that have a certain retail price, maybe not. But generally, we are resellers in here, so we're generally not selling new items. Quite often, most of the time, it's a used item. And most of the time, we're picking them up for, I was going to say cents in the dollar, but that's not entirely true. But we're picking them up very cheap. Otherwise, we wouldn't be buying them to resell compared to what we're selling them for. And yes, I know we need to make a profit, but what do you need to consider about whether you should accept an offer or not? So the first thing to think about is, do you actually have a minimum price in mind before you accept? Now, this is something I have talked about before when I think I've talked about it. I think one of my videos was about metrics. And that was about that. You need to work out what your metrics are. And by that, one of the things you need to work out is what is the minimum amount you can accept for that offer. And I've frequently said over time that personally for me, my in quotation marks, minimum amount that I want to accept an offer on is $10. Like I want to make $10 profit from everything that I sell. That's my aim. And everybody should have a figure like that in mind so that they know whether that offer is really a lowball offer or whether it's worthwhile thinking about. So everyone should have a minimum price in mind. An overall minimum price for whether it's perhaps for each category or whether it's perhaps overall in your store, that's what you should do. Now, my minimum price, and this is taking into account that some of my categories I promote them at a higher rate than others, but overall, generally I want to not go any lower than $17. And that's I base that on the average cost that I buy stuff for and average of what my fees are going to be and the cost of posting it's going to be. So I want to be in, the buy to be in for $17 plus post. I don't generally like to go below that because once I start getting below that, then I may be getting close to going under that $10 mark. But I know I can go to that $17 mark and still be making on everything $10 profit. So that's something to consider. So let's think about whether the offer is close enough to the asking price to be worth your sale. But you should also consider the sales velocity or how fast moving is that item to sell. Like you might have something that you can sell for a really high price, but how long is it going to take you to sell? And when you're thinking about that, think about how much room that item takes up in your store. Is it something that's really big that you could replace with 6 smaller items in size? I'm talking, not in price. Are you running any sales or promotions that might affect your decision? And that does happen to me. So for example, at the moment I'm running 2 coupons. I'm running a 33% VHS coupon and a 22% clothing coupon or clothing and book coupon for anything that's over $20. So if I'm sending out an offer, what's the point in sending an offer that's 22% or under? There's no point. So at the moment I've been sending out offers of 24% because it's just a little bit better than what they're getting if they use the coupon. And apparently that seems to be working. So that's the other thing to consider. And then you've also got to have, as much as you want that metric of what's the minimum amount you really want to accept, you also need to know your bottom line. So how low can you go with an offer before you really say no? And if that's something like today, as I said, well, generally my lowest offer I'll accept is $17, and that's generally for clothing and books. And that's, I'm not talking about like the cheaper quick scan books or variation listings. I'm talking about books that I list as one-offs and clothing and all that, and VHS and all that sort of stuff. But as an example, today I accepted an offer of $14 on a piece of clothing because I've had that piece of clothing for well over 12 months and I really wanted it out and gone. So I accepted that lower offer. I know at $14 I'm still going to be making a decent profit, and with that I should still come out, because I think that one only cost me a couple of bucks, so I'll still come out with my $10 profit, I believe. So it's a good idea to know your lowest possible amount. Will I accept an offer up to, say, maybe $10 and over? Hello, Ray Potter. If I've had it for a while, or if it's something that I know is a really slow seller. So they're other things to keep in mind. You can set up auto accept and auto decline amounts I know, John, you do this, don't you? You set up a auto accept if it's over a certain amount and auto not accept if it's under a certain amount, or offers need to be over a certain amount.
Yes, I do that, and that just means that you don't get the low ballers. It was the thing that Chris Furlong does. It just means you don't get the low ballers, and if you're happy to get 15% off without them talking to you, then just allow that to be. I got an offer today on a shirt. No, on a pair of pants. By the time I got to look at the offer, someone else had come in and paid full price for it. Ooh. So, but it would have gone through otherwise. So I don't know what happened there. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
well, see, buyers should be quicker, I would say. The other thing you've got to take into consideration are shipping costs. Now, if you are someone that does free shipping, which some people still do, then you have to take that into account. You've got to know how much your postage and your postage handling shipping, like as in the cost of your packaging and any other costs related to your postage, how much that is. So you need to know, you've got to take that into account. But if you're doing plus post, it's not such an issue because that's an add-on. Now, have a think about whether you think offers impact eBay's algorithm and items visibility. I believe they do. I really do. I believe if you are, we often talk about the fact that doing something on eBay, regardless of what it is, whether it's editing, whether it's listing, editing, fixing up postage policies, whatever, activity on eBay seems to get you better visibility on eBay. And I believe that the same happens with offers. But that's something for you to consider and perhaps experiment with.
I totally agree.
Now, the other thing to consider, which you can do, is, there's a couple of other things you can do. So when you send offers, should you send a personalised message? Does anybody do that?
I used to do it a long time ago, and I found it did absolutely nothing, so I stopped doing it. To me, it didn't add any traction or gain any sales by dropping a personalised message in there.
I 100% agree with you. I'm the same. I used to cut and paste a particular message in every one of mine, and I did that for a good 12 months, and it gave me no improvement whatsoever. The other thing you can do is you can actually send out coupons with an offer. Now, I actually, in order to work out whether that was worthwhile, I actually created a particular coupon just to send to people that I sent offers to. And in the whole 12 months that I did that, well, actually, it was probably longer. It was probably more like, I think it was about 15 months I sent that out for. Not one single time did that coupon get redeemed. To me, that was just time. I know that it doesn't take long. Oh, you're very, very handsome, Ray Potter. It doesn't take long to add the coupon in when you're sending the offer, but, all that extra time on lots of offers does take time. Something to think about. So, do we have any questions or thoughts on sending, whether it's a good thing to accept offers or no?
I accept most offers unless they upset me, and then I just usually counter. Very rarely decline.
Right, good. And what about sending offers, Sandra?
Yeah, I send offers, but I've got to work that out first. Like, I've got 20% off store-wide at the moment, so I'm generally just sending 5 to 8%. Some of them 11% to see if I can get them out the door, but yeah, some of the things have been there a bit longer. I usually send offers as long as I've got some to send. There was one I haven't sent an offer on because the woman asked me to do local pickup, so I changed it to local pickup, and she hasn't come back to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had someone else request that I changed my listing on the Vance books, Vance, whatever his name is, on my variation so that he could get a bundle deal. So I changed it for buy two, get one free. And he didn't buy anything either. So I haven't worked this one out. I don't know why people do that. But, yeah, I send out as many offers as I can.
I must say, as soon as I see an offer, I deal with it straight away, whether it's accepting it or even given the chance to send an offer, I also deal with that straight away. I mean, if you're dealing with huge amounts of those, maybe you set aside some time during the day to deal with them because maybe they take a bit longer than me. Like, I think this morning I sent out 12 offers, but I just banked them all into categories. So I'll do all the clothing together, then I'll do all the books together, and then I'll do the VHS together because I know roughly what my amounts are. And because I'm having this 33% off with the VHS, some of those, I'm cutting it close to the wire with making a profit. So I know I can't go much below that. So, but then there's no point me sending out a lower amount. So, yeah, I just, go through and choose all the clothing, send the offers, etc., etc.
Yeah, definitely send out offers. It certainly, how many times, I'm sure we can all say this has happened, how many times have we sent an offer out and then within the next few hours, someone has bought the thing full price? And it is because of eBay then shows your product more often.
It's giving attention to that item, which therefore gets that item spread out even more visibility.
Yeah.
So definitely worthwhile. All right, let's have a look at, just got to share my screen here. Right, screen, if everyone wants to be having a look at that little screen there. This is something that I discovered that I was going to bring up last week, but then I couldn't do last week's thing. But just something to keep an eye on if anyone sees anything about it. So I just did a general eBay search on eBay updates in 2025 because we were going to talk about, or it was the week that we were going to be talking about new things for eBay. And this came up, and I know this is for the US site, but it did give me a little bit of concern. So it said upcoming eBay payment changes in 2025, what sellers need to know. And number one, introduction of buyer fees, and I know that's been an issue in different places, so I left that alone because that for us isn't an issue at the moment. But number three really had me a little concerned because what if this happens in Australia? Mandatory eBay shipping labels. Sellers will be required to purchase postage through eBay shipping system. This aims to streamline shipping processes and provide consistent tracking information. So I really just wanted to raise that as something, not something that's actually been implemented right now, but I think it's certainly something that we should keep an eye on and, hope to God that it never gets put here in Australia. Anyone got any thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I was on eBay UK today and I noticed that a couple of listings had a buyer fee and it was worded as a buyer protection fee. So I have a feeling it's already started in the UK. So yeah, I have to look at that a little bit more because I didn't buy anything. I was just having a browse. Mandatory shipping labels, I wouldn't be too concerned. That's just my personal opinion at the moment because I think Australia Post would probably step in. That sort of competes with them maybe. And I remember going back a long time ago, there was a period where eBay tried to implement the rule that you could only pay via PayPal on eBay, and the ACCC stepped in and blocked it so that you could still pay with bank deposit if you really wanted to because of because at that time eBay owned PayPal as well. And I'm wondering if it might be a similar situation that might arise if they try to implement that in Australia. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I certainly would hope so, and that did run through my mind as well, Bax. But yeah, I'd certainly hope that that wouldn't happen here. But yeah, just a little bit of just raised a little flag with me, and I thought certainly something I would raise in here so that anyone sees anything about it, let us know. And
Amazon has a deal with Australia Post. I wonder if eBay would go to that party. And the other thing I was going to say is the reason the UK is so hot on a buyer protection is because that's how Vinted operates, and that's why they've changed it.
Yeah, they're trying to go like other platforms. And that's, I guess that's the other thing, because I know platforms like Whatnot and that have their own sort of shipping processes where you buy the labels through them. So maybe it may not be a concern, but if, say, Whatnot comes to Australia, they may, and it takes business away from eBay, they may rethink that. But yeah, just something I thought that was worthwhile keeping an eye out. All right. G'day, Jen.
Hi there.
Got curves in her hair, lipstick bold and bright, strutting down the street like a disco queen. And like granny's on a mission, her pitchfork in her hand, hunting thrift store treasure all across the land. She's funky, she's sassy, she's got that Aussie charm. Out in the bush, she's raising the alarm.
Oh, baby, be on the look at the gold.
Granny's flipping fine.